How's that? Let me put on a talit. Something I forgot to do last time. Oh, we had to start. I da da di da di da da, I da di da, I da da di da di da da, I da di da, ya da da di da di da da, I da di da, ya da da di da di da da, I da di da, oh, I da di da, oh. I da 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 da, whoa. I da 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 di da, whoa. I da da da, ya da da di da di da da, I da di da, ya da da di da di da da, I da di da, ya da da di da di da da, I da di da. Ya da da di da di da 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 di da, oh, da 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 di da, oh, da 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 da, oh, da 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 di da, oh, da 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 da.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so good to come this week into this sanctuary and be here with each other at the end of a very hard week. And those of you who are physically in this sanctuary with us, we are so glad you are here. Those of you who are at home watching, you are in your sanctuary as well with us, in our sanctuary that extends from here at Shir Tikva all the way to your homes, to your laptops and iPads. And we begin now really with a deep breath to bring us into this space wherever we are, a neshima amukah. And we'll just take that breath and sit with it for a moment as we arrive. We begin our service envisioning the world as we know it can be and should be and must be. We sing the words Olam Chesed Yibaneh, and then we'll transition into Shalom Aleichem on page 24.
Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yadadai, dadai, yadadai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yadadai, dadai, yadadai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yadadai, dadai, yadadai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yadadai, dadai, dadai, dai. I will build this world from love. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, dadai, dadai, dai. You must build it. You must build this world from love. Yadadai, dadai, dadai, dai. And if we build this world, if we build this world from love, yadadai, dadai, dadai, dai, then God will build it. God will build this world from love. Yadadai, dadai, dadai, dai. Olam Chesed, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yadadai, dadai, dadai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yadadai, dadai, dadai, dai. Olam Chesed, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yadadai, dadai, dadai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yadadai, Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem Boachem Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Barchuni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Barchuni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tzechem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
As always, we welcome Shabbat with light, and I'd like to invite up Lisa Greenberg and Sally Wayland to light our Shabbat candles. We bring the light to our eyes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you so much. We begin Shabbat like that each week as a way of bringing the light from the week into our Shabbat. And also we will send out Shabbat tomorrow night with light again to bring the sweetness of Shabbat into the rest of our week. For now, we welcome Shabbat in yet another way through song. Lecha Dodi on pages 20 and 21. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, 8, and 9.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nikabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nikabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad L'shemu tiferet ve'letila Lecha Dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nikabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nikabela
Verse 2.
Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki mekor habracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh v'machshavat techila Lecha Dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nikabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela.
5.
Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ba'orech, kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi kevod Adonai, alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela.
Verse 8.
Yamin u'shmol tifrotzi ve'et Adonai ta'aritzi al yarish ben parzi v'nismecha v'nagila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela.
We rise in whatever ways we are able and turn to face the door as if Shabbat itself were our beloved.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzol tohem unei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela.
We turn the page, and 11 lines down, we find the words Ma Gadlu Ma'asecha Ya. How great are your works. We begin Hallelujah.
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 Magadlu Masechaya. Leoram hu machshevotecha. Hallelujah. Magadlu Masechaya. Leoram hu machshevotecha. Hai lai 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 lai. Magadlu Masechaya. Leoram hu machshevotecha. Hallelujah. Magadlu Masechaya. Leoram hu machshevotecha. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Having welcomed Shabbat into our midst, we turn now and greet each other as well. If there's someone in the room with you, here in the sanctuary or at home, this is a time to say hello, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. If there is someone you are thinking of who you'd like to send a text to or just send a hug, please do. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And we turn to page 26 now for the Chatzi Kaddish. You may be seated.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yamad livrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayedecho bet Yisrael. Bagala, bagala. Uvizman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Yehesh me Rabba mevorach le'olam ulal me'al maya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpahar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Tamiran be'alma v'yimeru. Amen.
We rise again in body or in spirit as we turn to Baruch Hu on page 28.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
You may be seated. We turn the page. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. As we turn the page again, we find our prayer, Ahavat Olam. This prayer turns from creation in the last prayer now to something that is the most intimate of all, our understanding of what it means to be the people Israel, that we are in a covenant, that we have a calling, a particular aspiration to be a people striving to be holy in relationship to what is most holy. And that our tradition teaches that love that the love that is in our creation is universal, but for us it is expressed through Torah, this expression of our stories and our mitzvot, our values and our struggles. Day and night we are here to be guided by the wisdom of its ideas and ideals, and to wrestle with what is ours. Praise to you, Eternal One, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Mi Chamocha, our song of liberation, is on page 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you the songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Norah ba'elim Adonai, Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Mi chamocha?
Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. And we turn the page again and find our prayer to bring us through the darkness to the light. Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Hamidenu Shomrenu L'chayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Hamidenu Shomrenu L'chayim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Hamidenu Shomrenu L'chayim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Hamidenu Shomrenu
Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. And we turn now to page 46, where we find HaTefillah, the prayer, our central prayer of our service. I invite you to rise in whatever ways you are able.
Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imaot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'nechem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim Atah, Rab Le'Hoshia, Morid Hatal. Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech me'mit u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah l'chayot me'etim Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hametim Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh v'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalucha selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
We continue silently now in our own silent prayer, using the words of the pager of our hearts. Stay standing as long as you need and be seated when you are ready to continue our prayer together as a community.
Gesher Tsar Me'od. The entire world is a narrow bridge. That bridge felt pretty narrow at times this week, almost to the point of suffocation, I think, for a lot of us. But this has another meaning as well, which is to not be afraid. Oseh Shalom is our prayer to the one who makes peace for all of us. It's our prayer that that one who brings peace brings it upon all of us, upon all of Israel and on all the world. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od. V'ha'ikar, v'ha'ikar, lo lifachet, lo lifachet klal, v'ha'ikar, v'ha'ikar, lo lifachet klal. V'ha'ikar, v'ha'ikar, lo lifachet klal, lo lifachet klal. V'ha'ikar, v'ha'ikar, lo lifachet klal. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od.
As we walk down that narrow bridge, trying not to make ourselves more afraid than we ever need to be, we turn our thoughts as well to those who are in need of healing, maybe us, it may be those we love, in need of healing of mind, of body, of spirit, of soul. This week, we are particularly thinking of in this community, Abba Noach ben Yehudit, Eliza Dorfman, Avivia Sigalit bat Devora, Barb Scaglione, Barbara Lanzet, Barbara Zimen, Dahlia Harrell, David Feldman, Dee Lurie, Diane McCaslin, Dina Luton, Devora Batbunya, Eleanor Lustig, Emma Held, Ethan Kadish, Eva Jacob, Gemma Rose Nicoletti, Georgia Elizabeth Hummel, Golda Bat Udi, Harav Nechama Bat Yaakovu Vernice, James Nicoletti, Jeremy Pivor, Jerry Rosenstein, Jim Solomon, Joan Friedman Bat Cynthia, Joyce Pastor, Julian Arce, Julia Elizabeth, Kelly Lane, Leah Bat Fegala, Lily Stander, Lisa Shapiro, Lynn Bauer, Mark Lampert, Mayor Abba Ben Ruvain, Michael Kay, Moshe Yoel Ben Esther Avraham, Mordechai Ben Moshe, Mato Liba, Nahum Ben Razel, Natana Eliora Yitzchaka Bat Shoshana Gila, Nechama Bat Trina Raziel, Noach Eyal Mi Beit Yaakov Visara, Noli Platt, Pam Ross, Pazia Bat Leah, Peter Gross, Pinchas Aron Ben Shalom Mordechai Visara Leah, Richard Kirstein, Robert Friedman, Romildo Siqueira, Ron Abramson, Sam Goldenberg, Sarah Fega Bat Malka, Sarit Liat Bat Panina Sara, Salmon Vez, Stanley Sakowitz, Stephen Rose, Susan Hoyer, Susan Scheller, Tara Sager, Theodore Merkin, Tyson Botinas, Wendy Gully, Yaakov Ben Sarah Leah, Yaakov Yosef Ben Avraham, John Newmeyer, Yisachar David Ben Sarah Leah, Yosef Ben Gittel, Catherine Giles, Jody Sandler, Louis Rosenberg, and Sylvia Wolfson. If there are others you are thinking of tonight in need of healing, please say their names now as my eyes pass around the room. And we sing these words tonight, A Prayer for Healing by Todd Herzog.
And when I sing the English words, I would encourage you to sing them back at me as like an echo. El na rafana la El na rafana la Dear God of our ancestors,
Dear God of our ancestors,
help us renew our faith.
help us renew our faith.
Grant us the perfect healing.
Grant us the perfect healing.
Bring peace to all our days.
Bring peace to all our days.
El na rafana la Restore our strength of body.
Restore our strength of body.
Help clarify our minds.
Clarify our minds.
Refresh our tired spirit.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Rejuvenate our lives.
Rejuvenate our life.
El na Rafana la Rafana lanu. El na Rafana la Rafana lanu. Thank you for all these blessings.
Thank you for all these blessings.
Throughout our days and nights,
Throughout our days and nights.
we celebrate the journey.
We celebrate the journey.
We celebrate our life.
We celebrate our
El
life.
na Rafana la Rafana lanu. El na Rafana la Rafana lanu. El na Rafana la Rafana lanu. El na Rafana la Rafana lanu.
In my remarks this evening, I will be talking about the events of this week in Texas. And so for those of you at home, if you are there with a younger member of your family who may have been shielded from this news, I invite you to mute your computer for now and unmute again in about 10 minutes when Jay-Z returns to the bima. Some tragedies hit closer to home than others. And as the mother of an as the mother of an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old myself, even though words are usually my go-to, this week's massacre in Texas has knocked me over. I've wondered, should I wish that this one hit me less hard than it has? Or that all the shootings in our country could bring out just as much grief in me as this one has? I know I'm not alone in these questions. The news of the massacre in Uvalde hit like a wave, throwing so many of us off our feet at a time when the world seems steady, unsteady anyway. What firm ground have we had to stand on in this time of so many tragedies? 23 years since Columbine. 15 years since Virginia Tech. 9.5 since Sandy Hook. 3 since Parkland. 13 days since the Tops grocery store in Buffalo. Since 2014, the satirical news website, The Onion, has been republishing the headline for every major mass shooting in America. No way to prevent this, says only nation where this regularly happens. This headline has been published 21 times in the last 8 years. 21 also being the number of people killed in Uvalde. Because I can find so few of my own words, I turn to ancient ones, not because they are the rightest words to say, but because they are the only ones or they are the ones that have been leitmotifs in our tradition. Genesis 4:10, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Jeremiah 31:15, a cry is heard in the high places, wailing, bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children who are gone. Talmud Tractate Sanhedrin, when you destroy one soul, you have destroyed an entire world. I learned this week another passage from the Talmud in Tractate Shabbat, which teaches that Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish said in the name of the great Rabbi Yehuda Nasiah, the world endures only for the breath of school children. 21 worlds were destroyed on Tuesday, 19 of them school children on whose breath our world should have endured. This week, we begin reading the Torah's book of Numbers, known in Hebrew as Bamidbar, in the wilderness. As my teacher, Rabbi Tamara Cohen-Eskenazi, points out, wilderness is a place or time without orienting landmarks or structure. Read through the lens of being in the wilderness, this book of Numbers is a book in which every attempt at structure leads to chaos. Every attempt to organize leads to rebellion. Bamidbar, indeed, in the wilderness. What familiar themes these are in times such as ours. On the other hand, viewed through the lens of its English name, the book of Numbers is all about order. It's called Numbers, after all, for a reason. It begins with a census, specifically a counting of men aged 20 and up, deemed fit for war. And what a portion I know this is to read as we enter this Memorial Day weekend, knowing the cost of war for those soldiers older and younger than 21, and then 20 alike, aware as we are that the young men who have been in such anguish, who have committed these murders in these last 2 weeks, were only 18, understood by the Torah as too young to be entrusted with weapons of war. Numbers can be understood as about counting and systems. This book is a scrupulous accounting of the geography and geometry of the tabernacle, the Mishkan, and the exact specs for each of the tribes to assemble themselves around it as they journey through the wilderness. It is as if the Torah is trying to say, deny the confusion of looking too closely at the wasteland. Don't take into account the real and the messy. Don't take into account the moody people whom you are commanding. Stick to laws and measurements, and the path will always be clear. We live in a time of wilderness, wishing that the direction out of this place and time were obvious. Action is important. It is. As Rabbi Danny wrote on Wednesday, today we may grieve, but tomorrow we must act, lobbying our politicians, donating to organizations working to end gun violence, channeling resources to organizations focused on supporting students and faculty with tools not of war, but of, for want of a better word, love. Because at the heart of our tradition are the words we know so well. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, our love of God and of God's creation, which we're commanded to express with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our might, is expressed, says this prayer, best when we teach our children. And in another prayer, Ahavat Olam, we learn the converse, that God's love, or whatever it is that we call the goodness and care that flows through the universe, that love is expressed to us through our receiving and learning of Torah and wisdom as well. in between that tension between those names, numbers and wilderness, Bamidbar, we stand in that tension between, in this wilderness where we are trying to count. It is the time and place in which we live, and the power of this book of Torah is what the Israelites build together and carry with them, just as we must do ourselves. In the words of Dr. Rachel Haverlock, the tribes who encircle the priestly families in this book, who surround the Mishkan's curtained walls, that enclose the court that holds the Holy of Holies, that is the structure of the tabernacle. Circles within circles leading to the holiest spot of all. It puts holiness and the collective act of ordering chaos at the center of the Israelites' journey, as it must be for ours. May we find within us the strength and courage to do the same. May we put holiness at the center, love at the center of all we do, so that our thoughts and prayers will not be in vain. Shabbat Shalom. We turn now to our concluding prayers, wishing for the time when all will be one. God's name will be one. Aleinu is on page 282 at the bottom of the page, and we rise as we are able.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, לתקן עולם במלכות שדי, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
As we turn now to page 294, where we find the words of the mourner's Kaddish, we think of those who we are mourning this weekend. Within our community, this week marks the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of Shirley Cohen, Bruce Gordon Daniels, Jean G. Dorfman, Herbert Stefan Gordon, Adele Ruth Gredinger, Bert Isaacson, Joanne Snyder Eisenberg, Paul Cateman, Shirley Kestenman, Samuel Keston, Stephen Klein, Martin Lieberman, Kay Lowenthal, Jeanette Metzger, John F. Murphy, Andrew Pastor, Harry Platt, Lillian Pugach, Beatrice Stein Rosemark, Dora Lerner Rossman, Devora Clammer Ruben, Albert Sakowitz, Abraham Sandorf, Edward Sherman, Leonard Schulman, Harold Silverman, Frederick Swartz, Alan Bruce Tigay, Ida Warshaw, George Winefield, and Marvin Winter. And we are within the period of Shloshim for Norman Stavitsky, father of Adam Stavitsky, Fred Weber, father of Lisa Greenberg, Joel Weinstock, husband of Allison Weinstock, and Robert Martin Scheller, father of Rhonda Scheller. If I have mispronounced any names, or if there are others you are thinking of today, please say their names now as my eyes pass around the room. We say these words together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divarach hirute, be'amlich malchute, b'chaye hon uvyome hon, uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yet hadar, v'yet aleh, v'yet halal, shmei dekudasha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama Rabbah min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace on high make peace for us and all who mourn. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
So we have a number of announcements, and I think they will help to turn things from sorrow to joy, although I have, as always, I have misplaced them. So I'm going to look, it's maybe there. That's it. Thank you, Jonathan Zarkauer. I'm going to begin with thank yous. Thank you to Jonathan Zarkauer for leading with me tonight, and to John and Richard for helping with our technology, and to all of you for being here. There are many, many events happening around the temple in the next 2 weeks. There is a TS Teen pop-up of action event in response to the events in Uvalde on Tuesday, May 31st, and 2 more mitzvah opportunities upcoming. Join our Environmental Action Committee on May 31st as well to learn about composting, saving energy, and also to contribute your ideas for future activities. Our Afghan family that we have been sponsoring needs help getting around Metro West. If you can help drive them to appointments, school, or the supermarket, please contact Mike Wadness, our trustee of social action. On June 1st, help kick off Pride Month by joining TST alum Tracy Finch Labgold for a presentation on Zoom on being an ally and advocate for those we love. On June 3rd, and this one is hard to say, as many of you know, I am saying goodbye to this community, although I am not going far, and it is really a lehitraot, see you again. We will be having next Friday night a goodbye, and we will be having a special oneg before our service and some wonderful desserts after. Then on June 5th, next Sunday, a week from Sunday, we'll celebrate our 15 members of our adult B'nai Mitzvah class who have been studying for 1.5 years to prepare to lead our Shavuot service, and you can stay afterwards for a community lunch. The TST annual meeting of the congregation is on June 6th. You can attend in person or online to hear news and vote on important questions. And then on June 8th, the Adult Education Book and Film Group is hosting author Rachel Berenbaum for a discussion of her new incredible book, Atomic Anna. I meant to hold up a copy, but Rachel Berenbaum is a close family friend of ours, but also the review of her book was so incredible that it ended up on the front page of the New York Times Review of Books. Please join us on Zoom that night. And then, on June 13th, Cantor Hollis and a guide from J2 Adventures will be talking about the planned trip to Israel next February. And you can sign up on the website if you are interested in joining a group to attend a Red Sox game on June 22nd. So all of these things and more, check your weekly email that came out earlier today, check our website, check out the calendar, sign up for everything there. And with that, we do end with joy with some fruit of the vine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'yachava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim b'shabbat kodshecha b'yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch ata Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
Chaim. And our challah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Yalai la lai lai, yalai la lai lai, yalai la lai lai, yalai lai, yalai lai, yalai la lai lai, yalai la lai lai, yalai la lai lai, yalai lai, yalai lai. Lai la lai 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 di lai lai, yalai la lai lai, yalai la la lai. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.